What had Monica fiction Odin masking darker, unraveled intent? His fingers bled carving the mask of the realm between realms, a Santa Monica fiction masking darker intent. Kratos ripped it from the Allfather's skull during their Ragnarok reckoning, Spartan rage uncoiling like a second shadow. Darker the void and it hissed beneath the mask's fractured surface, a trapped thing writhing. What had Odin unraveled? Not a gateway, a coffin. The 9 realms trembled as the entity's whisper seeped into Kratos' reforged rage, this time without purpose. Odin did not seek wisdom, he craved the void's echo. Beneath Yggdrasil's roots, he forged a persona mask to bind Ginnungagap's first breath. Santa Monica's realm between realms was never a bridge, it was a coffin. The Aesir's origin, a darkness older than their bones, seeped through its cracks, a failed resurrection. A whisper in Kratos' rage, a debt unpaid, a god's hubris sealed in ash. Ash could not contain it. Odin's forge was no anvil of fire, it was a scar between worlds. The realm between realms, Santa Monica's Hersibor, the mask's birth, not by hammer nor flame. By a king who carved void into his own skull, he studied the Ginnungagap's breath, its hunger, not to banish it. To unravel the threads binding its children to the 9 realms. A scholar king's logic, if gods could die, why not let the void remember its own? The mask was his scalpel. A lattice of Yggdrasil's wrought, Nidavelir's black iron, and frost that never knew the sun, forged where the void's whisper grew teeth. Odin wore it not to rule, to beg, to plead with shadows older than his throne, but the void does not bargain. It only waits. The mask's fit was perfect, its weight, a debt paid in fractured sanity. For every crack in its surface, a primordial sigh seeped through, tantalizing, toxic. Odin's eyes bled, his mind bled. Yet the void-born did not rise, they stirred, a fraction, enough to make him keep stirring. The realm between realms did not hide them, it imprisoned them. Odin's experiment was not a failure, it was a delay. A pause in the silence before the void's next breath. The mask remains, not a tool, a monument. To a king who mistook his obsession for salvation, and the darkness he could not unmake. The mask does not open doors, it fractures boundaries. A splinter in the divine flesh of reality, it carves a path to the void between veils, a prison of forgotten breath, where entities older than Yggdrasil gnaw at chains no god forged. Odin did not seek knowledge, he sought kin. To him the Aesir were ash, the void beasts, his true progeny. He carved the mask not to imprison but to unshackle. A resurrection of wrought, not rebirth, the ritual cracked the veil. Not a prison, a pressure valve, one creature, too many teeth, too many eyes, slipped through the rupture. The 9 realms quaked. Not from the monster's hunger but the silence that followed, a void left where there should have been light. The king of lies did not die on the battlefield. He died in the moment his creation recognized him not as father, but as the first mote of dust in the void's eternal maw. Kratos and Atreus pulled the strings, but the real death was Odin's faith. The mask remains, not a weapon, not a key. A scar, a monument to the day the god of single-eyed wisdom proved blindness, is the only truth the void cannot unmake. Odin did not seek wisdom in the mask's hollow eyes, he sought to unseal the void's first breath. The Allfather's single eye, sacrificed for Elihai's hunger, was not for knowledge, but for the primordial shadows buried in the 9 realms' bones. Tyr alone saw the truth. The god of honor stood when others fell, his unclouded gaze fixed on the mask's jagged edges. He knew what Odin could not unsee, a gateway, not a relic, yet what honest god can slay his own father? Tyr looked away, the mask remained. Fae walked its corridors before they were carved. Her foresight was no gift, but a warning etched in blood. She saw the Allfather's end not in war, but in the moment the mask's void tongue whispered his name. Her cries were ignored. Prophets bleed first, then fade. Kratos came as the void's own reckoning. His blade, no longer a stranger to divine flesh, tore the mask from Odin's face. The old god gasped not in pain, but in release. The mask's last act was to cling to the warmth of a purpose it could not unmake, and now, dust. A shattered artifact, its edges still breathing in Santa Monica's shadows. No key, no resurrection. Only the ghost of a god who traded eternity for a single futile question. Asterisk, can the void be loved? Asterisk, the mask's silence answers. Always has. But this mask is more than a prison, it is a wound in reality. Odin's obsession to resurrect void-born entities from Ginnungagap, the darkness older than the Aesir, a bridge between realms, now a cosmic rift. Its hollow eyes weep primordial void. The mask breathes a question the gods cannot answer, what cannot be loved, The mask is a testament to the collision between divine ambition and cosmic consequence. Odin's hunger to reclaim the void's imprisoned echoes was not wisdom, it was resurrection. His ritual did not banish darkness, it unraveled the fragile veil between realms, a wound the void now breathes through. Kratos' rage and Odin's knowledge are twin engines of destruction, both gods, both failures. Their legacies carved in the ash of what they could not control. Odin's death in Ragnarok was no accident, it was the price of a scholar who mistook forbidden truths for salvation. The Aesir, blinded by the illusion of mastery, became architects of their own erasure. The mask remains not as artifact, but as indictment. A silent scream against the arrogance of creation. Its void-born tears ask no questioningly a verdict. What is loved must first be known. The 9 realms crumble not from external threat, but from the weight of what was unearthed. Every shattered god, every bleeding star, is a footnote in Odin's final thesis. To resurrect is to unmake. The mask's hollow eyes do not weep, they remember, they witness and in their gaze the void finds its echo. What cannot be loved? The shadow of the one who dared to resurrect it. The mask lies shattered in the realm between realms, a Santa Monica construct forged to cage what should never breathe. The void creature stirs in its ashes, lingering, patient, hungry. Odin's obsession was not knowledge but resurrection. He sought to unbind the entities that devoured light before the gods had names. His final act, a shattering. Kratos and Atreus did not kill him, they stopped the unraveling. Now the realm between realms bears his failure. The mask's fragments whisper to no one. The void creature waits for a hand bold enough to gather them, but courage is not wisdom. And the void does not forget the one who gave it form. Santa Monica's canon seals the truth. Some experiments outlive their architects. Some shadows outlast their makers. The realm between realms holds its breath. The void holds its hunger. And the world above sleeps, unaware how thin the dark has become. The mask is not a trophy, it is a tomb. Within its iron curves the echoes of unmade things still coil. Odin's hunger was not for knowledge, it was for resurrection. He sought to reignite the void's first flames, to unshackle the nameless entities that birthed the gods and the void's endless hunger. Each chiseled edge of the mask is a scar from his failures. His bloodline pays the price. Each heir to the throne bears the weight of a hunger that cannot be sated. The void does not forgive. It does not forget. What Odin unraveled in his desperation now slumbers beneath the roots of Yggdrasil, waiting for the day a god's hand trembles toward the mask again. Knowledge without wisdom is a door without a lock. The realm between realms is not a bridge, it is a boundary. And boundaries exist to hold what should never be let loose. The mask whispers of a truth older than the gods. Some hungers outlast the stars. Some doors once opened become graves. The void is not a place, it is a want, and want like fire consumes everything in its path, even gods, even kingdoms. Even memory, the mask remains, the hunger remains, and the dark waits. The void creature's howl still echoes in the frostbite air where the mask shattered. Its shadow lingers thin as rime, feeding on the cold that clings to the blade of the Aesir. Kratos and Atreus' blades found Baldur's heart, but the howling blizzard that followed fractured the blade, its jagged edge humming with betrayal. A weapon forged to bind void fire, now cursed to bleed the 9 realms. What did Odin sacrifice to